getting into the legal structure. So the ultimate plan for DD is it's going to be citizen owned. It is going to take several years for this to happen, and it's all dependent on how quickly Americans, how quickly they use our platform, how we get a good chunk of percentage of Americans using it. The goal is that we're literally going to gift digital democracy to America. So every American would have equal ownership stake. They have to consent to it, so they have to opt in to having an ownership stake. Kind of like how a stock is set up. Every American would have an equal ownership stake. It's non-transferable. You either have it, you opt in, you get it, or it doesn't exist. You cannot sell it to somebody. You cannot give it to anyone else. Like right now, it's going to be part of FiNC, and then as we start developing it, it's going to be more and more separated. Right now, DD is its own department right now. As we keep growing, we'll make it a separate organization, but still under FiNC, and then go further and further till it's broken off and then completely citizen owned. But it'll still be citizen owned with us as watchdogs early on, just making sure things are still fair, things are going the right direction. There's no like partisan ownership over it of like a certain party or certain ideology overpowering the others. And then just slowly, gradually over time, we would take less and less power and like authority in there until eventually just completely up to a vote. And like I don't know, there'll be like a president of digital democracy. We would vote, maybe we'd have like elections of like who is in charge of running the technology that's overseeing our election system. So the ultimate goal is that we want a private entity to oversee our public election system ongoingly as this watchdog that's making sure democracy is continuing, that democracy is keeping up to date with technology. As technology evolves, digital democracy will evolve. If the metaverse becomes a big thing in the world, well, then digital democracy will incorporate that as well. And as AI is involved in the world, it's gonna evolve too. So it's gonna keep evolving and making sure it's always caught up with technology. Right now, politics are still back in the Stone Ages. It has not caught up with the digital age. Like yeah, they use social media to campaign and stuff, but they don't really know totally what it should look like yet, and they're still kind of floundering and trying to figure out what to do. Digital democracy, really just the technology, the blockchain itself, the digital democracy platform, completely citizen owned. It wouldn't even have like a marketing department. It's just building the technology. There's probably gonna be like nonprofits separate from them that would promote DD in itself and get more people on the platform. Um, but it's like it doesn't have a voice. It's just about the evolution of the platform. It just wants to make sure everyone has an equal voice, that everyone's voice is heard, that it's heard as intricately as possible. So the ultimate thing is like forever having a private entity that works as a checks and balance for our public system. People are corruptible, people can be greedy. There's always needs to be checks and balances, and so this will be a new check. We within government we had the three checks and balance: the executive branch, legislation, judiciary, and like that works in its own, but then like partisanship and a lot of other things kind of makes that not a great checks, not a good enough checks and balance. So adding a private entity that kind of oversees public entities, like that's just another dimension to throw in there to just keep adding, keep people in check, because unfortunately that's how humans are. That's what citizen owned means. It's not about profits. That people are not going to get profits out of this. It's purely just having an ownership stake, that everyone has this equal voice to guide the future of the technology, making sure it's legitimate, making sure people's voices are being heard fairly, and all that good stuff.